Hey friends, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. Hope that you're doing well. It's Christian Dior time. We're gonna be taking a look today at the 5 worst and the 5 best fragrances that Christian Dior has available right now. With the caveat that some of these are available right now at discounters. So you're not gonna be able to walk into like your local Macy's with a couple of these and be able to pick them up, but you can still find them online. And the way that I got the 5 best and 5 worst is I went through all of Christian Dior's fragrances that you can still find that aren't impossible to find anyway. And I looked at their scores on Fragrantica and sorted it out that way. But I'm also gonna give you my personal top 5 from Christian Dior right now, and also the 5 from Dior that I think are the best if you're looking for versatility and compliments. So 5 worst, 5 best, my personal 5, and the 5 best for compliments. Whew. We're basically just taking a look at everything Dior right now. All of these are gonna be linked in the description. Let's get started. We're gonna do the worst, starting at number 5, so that's the least worst, and then the 5th best, and work our way up to number 1 for each of those. The number 5 worst Dior fragrance for men, Sauvage Parfum. On Fragrantica, as of this video, as a 4.06 out of 5, which is actually not at all a bad rating. Most Dior fragrances are rated quite well, so even something like this, that's the 5th worst, isn't actually bad. But in terms of that website and how rankings typically end up there, this one does have a couple things going against it. One of those things, it's a Sauvage. The main Sauvage fragrances don't usually get a whole heck of a lot of love on that website. And also, Sauvage Parfum is not overly strong, at least for a Sauvage fragrance, and so that's gonna work against it a little bit as well. I will say, to my own personal taste of those first 3 Sauvages, the Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum, and the Parfum, I think for what most people probably want a Sauvage fragrance for, they would be better off getting the Eau de Parfum or the Eau de Toilette. And so while I wouldn't say that this is an awful fragrance or anything like that, I understand in the hierarchy of Dior where this one falls on that website. Like, it makes sense to me. Number 5 best, Eau Sauvage Parfum. So this is the Sauvage that gets a little more love, the Eau Sauvage, which is not actually Sauvage at all. Now you may notice something. You may be like, wait a second.
Minute. Who are you?
That is Eau Sauvage Parfum 2012, and you are correct. Eau Sauvage Parfum 2017 is technically higher rated than 2012, but I don't own that one right now. We're gonna make believe that that's 2017. You can tell the difference by the front label here. See, this one's all blacked out. The 2017 is not. But the difference is very minimal when it comes to the overall score. The 2012 has a 4.36 out of 5. The 2017 has a 4.39 out of 5, so 0.03 is the overall difference there. Still, this is number 5 in the top 5 best, and it does smell fantastic. Absolutely, but it's going to appeal more to guys middle-aged and older. Younger guys are not gonna gravitate towards this. It's a resinous, woodsy fragrance with a little bit of aromatics to it as well. Pretty expensive at discounters. You're still gonna be running over $100 for this one, but honestly, most Dior are expensive, so. Performance is good, extremely classy, mature, and sophisticated. It is a high-quality fragrance. Number 4 worst. What could that be? Well, it's this. Higher Energy. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna be like, higher energy? I don't even know what that is. Like I said, this video is concentrating on fragrances that you can find at discounters. You're not gonna really be able to find this at too many retail stores, but you can easily find this online. And this one has a 4.05 out of 5 as of this video, a whole 0.01 lower than Sauvage Parfum. I actually really like Higher Energy. It's not very well known amongst Dior's fragrances nowadays, but it smells nice. It's aromatic, it's fresh, it's a little bit spicy, it has a nice fruitiness in the opening. It's got pineapple, some citrus, melon also, juniper, mint, nutmeg, some woodiness. It's really classy, but very fresh and clean. Performance is so-so, but who cares? It smells nice. Compared to a lot of stuff that's come out here recently, maybe it smells a little bit dated because the sweetness is not like ramped way up, but sometimes I like that. I would rather have that a lot of days. So I actually really enjoy this one, and I would not personally place it that low. All right, let's get back to the best, some positivity. Dior Homme, number 4 best. And this one is getting much more difficult to find. That's also known as Dior Homme Original nowadays. This is not Dior Homme 2020, 2 separate things. And this one has a 4.42 out of 5. That is a fragrance that, like I said, a little harder to find. It pops up into discounters sometimes, but it's priced at like $150 or something like that, somewhere around there a lot of times, which is unfortunate. And as time goes, it's gonna be even harder to find. This is an iris fragrance, so it has that sort of makeup-y iris that Dior Homme was known for, that the line was known for. Now, obviously, as time has gone, that has changed, but this is what kicked it all off. There's also a little bit of freshness in there, has kind of a chocolatey undertone, just smells amazing. It's a fantastic release, and I think you can't go wrong with that if you like iris. All right, 3rd worst. Let's go ahead and clutch our pearls together here. It's Fahrenheit Eau de Toilette. Yes, Fahrenheit, the 3rd worst fragrance that Dior has out right now, or that you can still regularly find. Still, it's not rated that lowly. It's a 4.02 out of 5. So we still haven't even dipped below 4 here. So you can take solace in that if you love Fahrenheit. And even though I love this fragrance, I know a bunch of you out there love this fragrance as well, it does kind of make sense when you think about it in terms of the ratings. Because Fahrenheit can be a little bit divisive, right? It has that petrol aspect, that gasoline aspect to it. And some people just cannot wrap their heads around that. They don't like it. And even though there have been a bunch of reformulations of this, and some were maybe a little more palatable for people, you know, that ramped up the vanilla aspect of the scent, or, you know, gave it more of that. Still, at the end of the day, it's really well known for that violet and the leather in here. And it just doesn't work for everyone. And so for those people who it doesn't work for, they're gonna go on there, they're gonna rate it a 1 out of 5, and it's gonna drag that score down a bit. Number 3 best. I hope you like the Dior Homme line, because it's Dior Homme Intense. 4.50 out of 5. And this is one of my favorite scents ever. Designer, niche, indie, doesn't matter. I absolutely love how this smells. I have multiple bottles of it just in case. It's richer, it's deeper, it's heavier than the original Dior Homme. It absolutely does come across as more of a special fragrance, a formal occasion fragrance. It doesn't come across like an everyday wear, super versatile, easygoing type of scent. And I know that this one is actually super divisive as well. You may not think of it as being divisive, but it is. I have heard from so many people over the years who bought this, blind bought it, because of all the hype, the love, the accolades, and then they got it in and they thought, I cannot wear this. But the people that love it really, really love it, and that shows through in the score. And I do love it. I think this stuff is absolutely amazing. The number 2 worst Dior fragrance is Sauvage Eau de Toilette, just one of the most popular, best-selling fragrances of all time. It's really bad. Now, I don't think this is a bad release. I think that what this does, it does unbelievably well, which is reflected in those sales numbers. But there are some issues with it when we're talking about ratings done by the fragrance community at large, people that are really into fragrances, right? And when I talk about this, it's not just fragrances, it's everything, right? Music, movies, everything. When you have something that is unbelievably popular, that is almost everywhere, you're gonna have a lot of people who don't like that, who just automatically are gonna say, nope, I hate it because it's that popular. And like I said, you can have extremely popular music, it gets played over and over on a loop, and you have people who just get like sick of it and they hate it. Kind of the same thing goes on with Dior Sauvage a lot of times. Then also you'll have other people who just hate blue fragrances, so they'll go downvote it. You'll have people who say that it's too aggressive, too bold, too synthetic, too whatever, and they'll go downvote it. But it's not rated super low. As of this video, 3.88 out of 5. And as I was saying, I think Dior Sauvage Eau de Toilette actually, what it does unbelievably well. The versatility is through the roof. You can wear this about anywhere. And I know some people will say, no, you know, it's too synthetic, it's too this, it's too that. You can wear this anywhere, okay? Just as long as you don't go insanely heavy with the atomizer to the point that it starts to be abrasive smelling. You know, you keep your sprays in check and you can wear this to more formal occasions and it will work. It's a huge compliment puller. People absolutely love it. The performance is massive, it projects, it lasts. It doesn't cost that much at full retail compared to most things out there. So Sauvage Eau de Toilette is doing a lot right. But anytime you're that successful, you're gonna get haters. And Sauvage has haters. Number 2, best. And this was the biggest surprise for me. I did not expect this. Dior Homme Cologne. Dior Homme Cologne is the second best Dior fragrance. And this is one that has gone through different rebottlings and bottle styles. So I don't have the newest bottle style here. That's the 2022 iteration. I need to pick that one up. It kind of looks similar to like Dior Homme 2020's bottling style as far as like the cap and everything goes, but the color scheme is like this one. Anyway, the 2022 iteration of Dior Homme Cologne has a 4.52 out of 5, which is absurdly high. It's just super surprising to me. Like Dior Homme Cologne, the second best one. Now listen, I'm not saying Dior Homme Cologne is a bad fragrance. It's not. It smells amazing. Absolutely love it. It's just, it's very different from pretty much everything else that Dior has put out. And the performance on it is not great. And considering how much of an emphasis a lot of people put on performance, you would think that would dock it some points. And it is also fairly simplistic, even though it smells drop dead gorgeous. It's very lemony, fresh. A lot of people will say that it smells like iced lemonade off the top. During the summer, one of your best bets. Like if it's really hot outside, this stuff is absolutely killer for as long as you can smell it. Especially the opening. The opening here I think is absolutely amazing. Now the dry down is fine too, but the opening is just really where this shines for me. But number 2, I don't know. You can let me know if you agree with that or not, but that's what it is as of this video, 4.52. The worst, number 1 worst Dior fragrance as of this video, Sauvage Eau Forte. Probably not a big surprise to a lot of you out there. And this one is very easily the lowest rated, 2.32. And where this is also very new, that score is gonna fluctuate probably a lot more than every other score that I've read off so far, because you're gonna get a lot of people coming in and giving it a 1. You're gonna get people coming in saying, no, I actually really like it, and they give it a 5. So, you know, you're gonna have a little fluctuation there up and down, but I would anticipate that long term, this is probably gonna stay in that spot unless they just release some really rough stuff coming up in the future. And this one is very different. It doesn't smell like the other Dior Sauvage fragrances, kind of doing its own thing. It's alcohol free, so it looks a little bit milky there. Some people don't like that. The performance, it doesn't project as well as the other Sauvage fragrances. And the scent profile itself, it's very clean, kind of like clean laundry-esque in the opening. And I will say that the more I've smelled it, I don't mind it as much now as when I first got the fragrance in. I still don't really love the fragrance. I would take all the other Sauvages over this one personally. And I think for the price, it's overpriced. It's 193 bucks, almost $200. Very expensive in the designer realm. And this is the first fragrance done by Francis Kurkdjian after he took over as Dior's in-house perfumer. So, you know, there were a lot of questions with this one, and I think a lot of people underwhelmed. So Eau Forte, the number 1 worst, the number 1 best. Well, that is Dior Homme Parfum, and that has a rating of 4.55. And I do agree that this is one of the best fragrances that Dior has. I think it's absolutely stunning. It's one of those ones that's a designer, but you could call it niche quality, and most people are gonna be like, yeah, I agree. It is strong, it is really powerful, adds this amazing leather note to that Dior Homme DNA, like a little aromatic touch on the outside of the scent that just helps elevate it, gives it a little bit more of a classy feel, as if you could get even classier than Dior Homme Intense. It's another one though that is for cool weather, special occasions, not the kind of fragrance that 99.9% of people would ever think of wearing as a daily. So that's the issue with it. The other issue is it's expensive. It's hard to find in the US a lot of times. You can find it, it's just you're gonna have to pay for it. But it gets so much love, and it makes sense why it is amazing. It's a masterpiece. At the same time, the person that's gonna be wearing Sauvage or Dior Homme Cologne, Sauvage Parfum is probably not the same person that's gonna be wearing this. Not a lot of cross shopping there, I would imagine. So that's the 5 worst, that's the 5 best according to Fragrantica. Here really quickly are my personal favorites, my 5. First up, Dior Homme Intense, absolutely love it. And also Dior Homme Parfum. So both of those. Then Sauvage Elixir, which I thought for sure would be in the top 5. When I started looking through everything, I was like, it's gotta be there. It was not, but it was close. That has a 4.33 as of this video, so, you know, just knocking on that door. But Sauvage Elixir, I think, is amazing. One of the best designer elixir fragrances out there. You know, it's got kind of that throwback masculine aromatic feel to it, very woody, spicy, classy, sexy. It's a compliment puller. It projects, it lasts. Awesome scent. Then Fahrenheit Le Parfum. Really in love with that one also. It has that Fahrenheit DNA, but it's not as aggressive with the petrol gasoline aspects. It sweetens things up, it modernizes the scent profile. It is more of a special occasion fragrance, but I think it smells amazing. And then probably this, Dior Homme Sport, the new iteration. I think that that is a really well done scent. It takes the Dior Homme 2020 DNA, freshens it up a bit, gives it more of a wearability, versatility on a day-to-day basis. And it's this great mix of like fresh and classy and woody all at the same time. So Dior Homme Sport, wrapping that up, those are my 5 favorites, I would say. Like if I could keep just 5, I'd probably go with those. And now really quickly, the 5 that you'd want to get if you're just after compliments and versatility. First up, kind of a 2-for-1, Sauvage, Eau de Toilette, and Eau de Parfum. I think you cannot go wrong with these if you're looking for a fragrance that you can wear anytime, anywhere, that has good performance, that's gonna get you noticed, that's gonna get compliments. And yes, people will hate on these from time to time, but what they do so exceedingly well. So if you're after that, that's probably the first place I would check. Like spray those on, wear those, see how they work for you. You know, the Eau de Toilette, obviously a little bit fresher, Eau de Parfum, a little bit sweeter, a little smoother also, but try those out. Also, Dior Homme Sport, I would go for that. Like I said, classy, fresh, easily worn, really versatile. Sauvage Elixir, I would also check out for all the reasons I said before. Dior Homme 2020, I would give that one a look. Dior Homme 2020, not as fresh as Dior Homme Sport, obviously. Has more of an emphasis on the woods. I would say between the two, this one a little bit classier, but it still is really versatile, just like Dior Homme Sport. And then lastly, probably Dior Homme Cologne. I know I was kind of surprised over here to see it, you know, as number 2, but when it's really hot out, this is gonna be a better choice probably than any of these, other than maybe Dior Homme Sport. Just so fresh, uplifting, brisk, and it's that type of scent that everybody's gonna love, which is gonna give it that versatility. And while you can smell it, it is a compliment puller. So I would probably go with those. There we go. There's Dior, the 5 worst, the 5 best, my favorites, and some of the ones that you should look at if you're after something that's versatile and compliment pulling. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Let me know what you think on Fragrantica is wrong and what you think is right here. I understand why the fragrances ended up where they ended up, but there are some that I was like, oh man, for me personally, there's no chance it would be there, whether we're talking here or there. Thank you so much. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.